All right, random thought. Is this story, you're a dad, would you consider this child abuse? Now, let me tell you what happened.
Here we go.
This is a story on Reddit, so you always got to take it with a grain of salt, but it's a very interesting story. This dad...
What? You mean they all aren't real?
Might not be. Who knows? But there's this dad, his teenage daughter, I believe is either middle school or high school, and apparently has this ongoing beef with this other girl that's in the same grade. And the other girl, unfortunately, diagnosed with cancer. So she's been going through chemo and obviously lost her hair and wears a wig. So whatever escalated in the beef, this guy's daughter goes and rips the girl's wig off in front of everybody at school, embarrassing the girl and all that stuff, right? So the dad is livid. And so the dad, is mad at her. She's not feeling any remorse for what she did. So he gives her two options. Either I can take all of your electronics and will not buy you another thing until you turn 18. Or we can go to a salon and get your head shaved, and I'm not going to give you a wig. You're going to have to be bald when you go to school. Well, obviously being a teenager, she's like, hair grows back. She chose to get the bald head instead of losing her electronics. Now, he did not consult the mom because they're divorced. So the mom is livid, and the girl's been going back to school now bald, no wig. Still no remorse for what she did. So the dad puts this thing on Reddit, and you have all these parents and people that are coming at him like, well, where do you think she got this bullying behavior from? She got it from you. That's what you did is child abuse, and cutting her hair off is child abuse. And I'm looking at the story like, you go ahead on dad, because hair grows back. But you don't berate or belittle anybody who's been diagnosed with cancer, no matter how old they are. But it's even worse when you're a child, right? And you have cancer.
Yeah.
And this is what you're having to go through. And this girl does this to you in front of everybody at school. So you're a dad now. What do you think? Did the dad take it too far?
So here's the one question I have in this is, what started the beef? And I know you don't know the answer. And I wonder if he knows where this thing started. Is it just that they just didn't like each other? Or is there something that really sparked this entire thing from the very beginning? What was it about it with these two that this is carrying on, and for her to exert this kind of behavior, right? And the other part of it, for me, is like, is it child abuse? No. I mean, let me tell you something. You do not want, and this is the problem, when people go, somebody's acting out, and they go, whoa, that's because their parents didn't do anything about it. He did something about it. Now, should he have consulted the mom? I can see why and why not. Because if I remember correctly, when you sent that article to me, I think he has primary custody, full custody of his daughter. So yes, as long as she didn't find out just randomly, maybe he told her later, but no, this is what I'm telling you. This is what it is. But when you have, primary custody, then I think you actually, you should consult, but you're not required to on everything. And in this case, I've got to deal with this. I've got to deal with this person, with our child who is exerting this bullying behavior. And we've got to fix this because this does not get any better. But I will say this. That starts a lot earlier, too. What were y'all doing when she was, from a newborn up to 7 years old? You know what they say? Whatever your child is at 7, God forbid.
Well, I totally get that point, right? And I have no idea what their parenting was like when they were a kid, when she was like younger. But regardless of that, teenagers are teenagers where they're going through all those changes. They do stupid shit. They could have been raised really well. But I applaud the dad for what he did because, hair grows back. But the fact that she still shows zero remorse for it.
That's more troubling than anything else.
The fact that she shows zero remorse for it, I'm like, kudos to you. But I wonder what would happen if he had a son and the son did it. Because if the son did it to another male, a male guy going through chemo, bald, guys aren't going to pick on him and, make fun of him because he doesn't have hair. Where girls at that age, vanity is so important. But regardless, if he did it to another male or ripped off the wig of a female student and embarrassed him, if he had a son, I wonder would that been the same deal or would that been like a punch to the throat? Like, and then we could have the child abuse conversation because even to me, that's still not child abuse. Like one hit, like one time, that's not child abuse. Just
just one time to cave your chest in just a little bit. Sometimes you got to do it because you got to show that I'm still the man of the house. But I will say this: those people that are on Reddit, everybody on social media has these amazing perspectives, right? Everybody knows what's right, and everybody knows everybody else is wrong.
parents should just shut the hell up and let other people parent their kids. Now, if they're, abusing their children, starving their children, all those different things, yeah, intervene, call child protective services. But other than that, shut the hell up of what other people do with their kid, because you don't know all the detail. And in this case, all these people trying to give this dad some smoke, what would you do if it was your kid? And you can't, I'm sure as a parent, it's hard to fathom because your child hasn't done something like that. But if they did, what would you do? Or put yourself in the same shoes of the parents of the child that has cancer that got totally embarrassed in front of everybody at school. How would you feel then about what this dad did to his daughter? I just think you just got to put it in perspectives. Again, I'm not a parent. I don't have all the beams of light that shoot out of my hands and all that, and the level of love that parents feel that I'll never feel because I haven't reproduced. I get it. But I think we got to be careful when we're trying to judge other people's parenting just because it's different than what you would do. Maybe you wouldn't have shaved your daughter's head. It doesn't make it wrong. And I think what this guy did was 100% right. To me, that's equivalent to in other countries, you steal, they cut your hand off. I think this is similar. Eye for an eye.
I think it's a little less than cutting somebody's hand off, but I get you. The difference in abuse is let's not abuse the word abuse. How about that?
Shaving someone's head is not abuse.
Well, it depends. Have you seen some people's heads?
No, that's just genetics. That's not abuse. Hair's going to grow back. Beating the hell out of somebody is totally different. Starving your kid and all that, that's different. But shaving their head because they embarrassed someone else who was bald by no fault of their own, yeah, you get what you get. Imagine picking on the kid that has alopecia. To me, same thing. Oh, you want to make fun of somebody who can't grow hair and it's not their fault? Well, let's take yours off and see how you like walking around the mall bald head and see what people think about you. And look at the people staring at you. Look at the glares that you get. You only have to deal with that for 6 months. The person you made fun of, that's their life. It's their life.
Facts. Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Yanni Root.
And I'm just Terrell. You ever been out somewhere over here and two people have some crazy conversation, in some cases, serious conversation?
Hey, we are those people. And we've been having these conversations since college.
Yes, it's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast, episode 73. Be sure to like, subscribe, and definitely leave a comment.
Serious conversations like this one, if you're in Tampa Bay, it's a real serious conversation because your team is back to being shitty again. Tom Brady has retired.
Yeah. It's the end of an era, a long era. So I'm betting Gronk will be next.
Oh, trust me, they just haven't announced it yet, but he's definitely out. But were you surprised to see that Brady retired?
No, I wasn't. I don't blame him after winning a Super Bowl with a different team. Not many quarterbacks can do that. Mm-hmm. He still broke so many records. And then to still get to the playoffs, he doesn't have anything else to prove. And I think he's such a winner that if he were to come back and try again, and let's say they don't make the playoffs, who wants to go out like that? So I'm like, go out the way you can. And the toll it takes on your body, the physicality, he still played amazing his last year. I mean, his stats were better than Peyton Manning's last year. His arm was better than Peyton Manning's and Drew Brees his last year, and he was older than both of them. Yeah. So I don't blame him at all. I think it's been phenomenal to watch Tom Brady, to be a part of an era that we saw somebody like that. My dad was a big Terry Bradshaw fan. I don't recall seeing Terry Bradshaw play. If I was little, if he was playing, I was little. I don't recall it. I remember watching Tom Brady and just seeing everything that he's done in his career. It's been phenomenal. And I wasn't a Patriots fan, but I loved seeing the Brady story of how he won. And I didn't like the people that hated on Brady because why? It's like hating on somebody who's employee of the month every month. Okay, work harder. Do better than them. Don't hate on them. So I'm glad I got a chance to see a legend like this that people are going to be talking about for decades. I mean, you got kids now, they hear about Michael Jordan, never saw him play a game. We got a chance to watch that.
I just want to know when they're going to finally test him and release those steroid results. Because like you said, his arm was better than Peyton Manning. His arm was better than Drew Brees. He's older than both of them and played longer than both of them. And he threw about as much as all of them. So I'm probably more than them. So I want to know when the steroids are going to come out. We find out the real TB12 is only steroids. That's all I want to know. When are we going to find that out?
I think it's discipline. TB12 was just about discipline.
Okay.
Who knows? Who knows? But it was just great to watch all the magic that Tom Brady did. I mean, you think about the Patriots and Falcons Super Bowl, 28-3, that comeback. You almost saw that exact same comeback against the Niners and the Bucks.
That wasn't the Niners. That was the Rams. Let's get that clear. That was the Rams and the Bucks.
Right. Rams and the Bucks. Rams and Bucks. Because Rams are playing the Niners. Yeah, the Rams are playing the Niners. That's why I got confused. Apologize.
But that's exactly why people weren't worried when they were down 20-3. Like, oh, we've seen this before. And sure enough, came right back. And he didn't lose that game. The defense did. They gave it up. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest problem. So that's, at that point, it's like, I did all I could do. I'm out. Hey, good luck to him. Hopefully they never get those real steroid results and that he will live scot-free, just like he did with all the other cheating allegations that came up while he was in New England, the Deflate Gate and all that other stuff. All those other things that he was able to skate by. I think he'll skate by the steroid one too, just because he never really put on any weight, any real muscle. So he'll be fine.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Well, somebody else who made the news, another Hall of Famer, but in a different sport, John Stockton, formerly of the Utah Jazz and formerly of Gonzaga. Gonzaga just recently suspended his season tickets because he refused to wear a mask. And his thing is, well, it's only because I'm easily recognizable. No, you're easily recognizable because you're not wearing a goddamn mask. What am I missing here? No shirt, no shoes, no service. No shirt, no shoes, no mask, no season tickets. Am I missing something here?
I don't understand. I don't understand this story of why John Stockton wouldn't wear a mask. If it's you're Mormon, okay, great, that's fine. But the building rule says you got to wear a mask. Wear the damn mask. Mm-hmm. All the other Mormon students and people in there are wearing a mask. So if he's from, I'm assuming if he's from Utah, maybe he's Mormon. Don't know. Mm-hmm. So if it's religious exemption he's looking for, get over yourself. But then you're John freaking Stockton. Just wear the mask. And it behooves you because then everybody doesn't come bother you. They don't look at you like, oh, there's John Stockton. Let me come get a selfie. Mm-hmm. But why do all this to lose your season tickets over wearing a mask?
It's because I've said this over and over again. It's the country of you can't tell me what to do. He's following down the line of this misinformation as you look back and see all the things he's done. Oh, athletes have fallen down have died on the pitch, on the court, and on the football field off of getting the vaccine. He's been peddling all this misinformation and all these lies. So he's got to stand strong. When you're in the sunken place, you really don't know you're in the sunken place. You're just listening to that teacup stirring, and you just don't know, and you just keep going deeper and deeper, and that's where he is, and that's why now he's on the outside looking in. And I applaud Gonzaga for saying, you know what? You are one of our most cherished alumni. You are a Hall of Famer. And you will now be outside until you decide to put on a mask.
Yeah. Now, is it a permanent suspension or is it a temporary suspension?
You know what? Considering that I don't see COVID being permanent, I don't think it's a permanent suspension. I think it's just, you can't come to the rest of these games because of this. And you know what? You can't be if other people are upset because you're doing it, you can't get that privilege. So, hey, put on a mask, man. If you want to see the games, if you just didn't want to go to the games anymore, if the team is that bad and they're disappointing, just say that. You didn't have to not wear the mask to not show up at the games, okay?
But isn't it possible for him at his level and his status to be able to get like a suite? They were, okay, don't wear a mask. You're in your suite. But if you're going to stand out here with the population, with either students or whatever, wear the mask. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing I don't understand. If you want to go maskless, great. Get a suite. You can do it. You're freaking John Stockton.
And then you still got to walk into the building. So if he's still not wearing a mask, then that could be a problem because you're in the common area.
Well, and again, I don't know in the story if it was he didn't want to wear a mask, period, for the whole game, or he didn't want to wear a mask to walk into the building and then be able to take it off. Because even in the students, you got to eat and drink, so you can take your mask off at some point. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I need to hear more detail. And, of course, you're not going to get the whole story. But still, it's stupid. You're John Stockton. There's more other things for you to be putting the news about than something this little and dumb.
Let's be honest. When's the last time we talked about John Stockton?
Touche.
All right.
Touche.
It's not like he's Ted Cruz or something, somebody we talk about every week as we get into politics as usual. And I know we're rolling around. It feels like we're getting close to about this time that you had to jump on a phone to do an episode of the podcast because your electricity was out.
Yeah, we're about roughly 2 weeks away from the anniversary of Snowpocalypse in Austin, Texas. And this is when all of us, lost power, water. I think I was without power for 3 days. No water for 3 days. Means I couldn't shower for 3 days. It was freezing. You couldn't get out because Austin's not built to handle that type of weather condition. It was awful. And then that's when you had Ted Cruz and his wife decide to go to Cancun. And it was supposed to be to escort his daughters, and they had a spring break trip. But really, they were just trying to plot a trip to get out because it was freaking cold, which I don't fault him for that. It was cold. If I could get out and go to Cancun during that week, I would have been gone. Cancun has Wi-Fi. He could have still worked. But the fact that he lied about it is the thing. And then comes back after the public outcry, goes to Mexico, comes back, and then tries to start passing out waters and all that stuff after coming back from country, not quarantining, all these different things, just to show the kind of turd that he is. And so I don't want our Texas listeners to forget what happened with Snowpocalypse and how he responded to this and just the crap that came out of his mouth. So as I've said many times, and I'll say it again, 2022, we got to vote him out. Yeah.
And I as I've said since then, I admire you because this means we're 50 weeks now of you on this campaign because almost 50 weeks because I think you may have done it the week after that. So therefore, let's just say week 49. And I applaud you because you've been consistent. You've made sure that every week you get that point out. You've made sure you've tried to gather your friends to get them to rally their friends and let's go ahead and get registered to vote. And not only register to vote, but when it's time to vote, get out there and get your ass out to the polls and vote and get Ted Cruz out. However, Texas is going to Texas. Texas is going to Florida. Texas is going to Flexus. And Ted Cruz will be right back there again. Why? Because he knows how to speak to the base. You've heard all the crazy shit he said in the last 49 weeks. It speaks to the base. The one time he said something that spoke to everybody, the base came for him. And they were like, hey, come to the principal office of Fox News. You sit down here and let's have a talk about you speaking something other than this stuff that's been mandated for you to speak.
Yeah. Tucker Carlson, hey, Ted, come here. Put your lip out.
Now, you want to talk about abuse? Now, that was abuse.
Yeah. He did take a little bit of a mollywhopping on TV, but still, he's just a turd. He just says whatever. Not true. Every politician does it on both sides. So it's not like Ted Cruz is the only liar that's out there. But for Texas to move forward, we got to get your Greg Abbotts and your Ted Cruzes out of the way. And I'm sure there's another turd right behind him that's trying to come in there. But still, when they bold-faced lie like the whole Cancun thing, that's our ticket to say, you know what? I can take only so much bullshit from you. Now you said this, I'm done. And we got to move on.
And hopefully you do, because if not, then we'll see him not only back in the Senate, but then he'll also be right back there in the presidential run as long as his daddy, Donald Trump, is not running. So it'll be interesting to see. But it's really up to you, Texas. It's up to you. Only you can prevent Ted Cruz.
Counting on you.
Yeah, so this one came in on for this bullshit at rgrtpod@gmail.com. And I saw the headline. I was like, huh? Long Island nurses make $1.5 million in fake vaccine card scam. First of all, that just tells you how many people want these fake vaccine cards, right? That are so against the vaccine. And like, well, shit, if I need this goddamn card to go eat, give me a card. And I'll pay. Because come to find out, it was $220 for a fake adult card, $85 for a children's card. The vaccine is free. I just want to point that out again. The vaccine is free. $220 for an adult, $85 for a child. So if it's, a parent and 2.5 kids.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And all this just so they can go into retail establishments, restaurants, because we don't have that same rule here in Texas. So it's a little bit different. You don't have to have a card to go eat. But in New York, it's a big deal. You got some companies now in you have to be vaccinated to even work in certain parts of New York, period.
Yeah.
And so I get it. But for these people to be nurses, to be medical professionals that understand the importance of what's going on with the vaccines, how viruses work, to contribute themselves to that. And November 21st or November 2021 to January is how long their run was. In that short time, they got 1.5 million. And when they got caught, they had $900,000 in cash on them. So you know all these rappers that are like spelling out their names in cash? They could have done that. They had 900,000. I'm like, y'all are caught.
And they could have done fake vaccination cards, sold here, and still had money left over.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just like, how do you? I just don't get the fact that these medical professionals would do this. But then also they're registering, they're putting into the system that all these people were vaccinated. So that skews the data for the state's vaccinations. So it's nuts.
It's nuts. Again, it's even more so that they made $1.5 million in 3 months. That tells you how many people they signed up for this. That is crazy. How many people are willing to shell out cash because I just don't want to get this because you can't tell me what to do?
Hold on. Let me do some quick math real quick. So,
oh boy,
you said it's $220 for adults.
Yeah.
And then $85 for kids.
Uh-huh.
So let's just say that's $305. And so let's just and you said 1.5 million
up here. Now most of these are probably adults, so
let's just say it's one adult and one kid.
That'd be a little bit
$305. Yeah, it's a total bar napkin math is what we're doing here. That's almost 5,000 people. Crazy. That's just
it shows
insane.
you that not everybody in every field is ethically inclined, which we know that. I mean, because when we have to deal with police, we know that they're not all ethically inclined. If you're looking at these nurses, I think you pointed out the fact that the name of they're pediatric nurses, and the clinic is a pediatric clinic, right? It's called Wild Child. Are we really surprised?
No.
Are we
Sounds like a
really
strip
surprised
club.
that the Wild Child has no ethics?
Yeah. Yeah, sounds like a strip club. But I mean, that goes to your point, right? It's people that
That's where
lack
$900,000
integrity.
came from.
Yeah, people that just lack integrity and morals. I don't get it. You know, run a red light, lie that you weren't speeding. I get that. But you're doing stuff that could negatively impact people's lives, and you're a healthcare professional. Why would you risk everything all the certifications, everything that you did? Because these people will go to jail. The pandemic is so serious that they are going to go to jail. Might be 3 months, could be a year, whatever. But you won't be able to practice anymore in the state of New York. Like,
Exactly.
why would
And
you
that
risk
money you're not gonna
everything
get
that
to
you
keep.
worked for? And you're not going to get to keep it. You busted.
Well, you know, so
I don't know. Sorry, it just bothers me. If you're gonna be a criminal, why not let's talk about that. What would you have done with the money? You know you're gonna get caught. Doesn't it make sense to put the money in some other account under someone else's name? Just make little small deposits here and there. That way, you get caught, you go to jail for a year. At least you come out, you got $900,000. Wait,
let's be honest. After the first 500,000, you're like, oh, yeah, there's no way we're getting caught. This has been going on. You don't think you're going to get caught. What happened was they had some undercover agents who bought one or more fake cards, and that's how they got caught. And the thing about it is, regardless of what their reasoning is behind it, right? If it's, well, we don't believe in the vaccine or whatever it is, not everybody believes in wearing seatbelts, but it's the law, so you wear it, right? Now, if you say, well, the vaccine doesn't stop everybody from catching COVID, okay, well, at the same time, the seatbelt doesn't stop you from getting in an accident. It also doesn't stop you from dying in an accident, but it prevents you from a lot worse. You're more likely to die if you're not wearing your seatbelt, get thrown from the car. So,
yeah, but I mean, come on, Yanni, that's logic. We don't want to use that.
Yeah, why? I mean, what am I thinking here? Jesus Christ. What's wrong with
That makes
me?
too much sense. Why would we do that? That just makes too much sense to go down that route.
You know what? On that note, let's logically step out of this. Don't forget we dropped the Audio episodes every Monday, video every Tuesday, and on Wednesday we're back with Married at First Sight, Season 14, Boston, the recaps.
Ugh. Trash. It's trash.
This week should be a good one. I mean, I think we found out certain things, especially this Wednesday. You might want to tune in because Terrell is going to do something that he hates doing ever.
No, Terrell's not.
Why not?
Because I already said it, and you can go to the YouTube channel and see what I said, and it's out there. I don't have to say it twice for your ego, and that's what you're trying to get me to do.
You didn't say it. You wrote it.
I did.
That's not saying it. That's
Same.
not saying it. That's not saying it. You need
Same.
to say it. You need to say it.
Same. So
It's okay to
Obama
tell me
wrote
I'm
Audacity of Hope. Does he have to actually say it out loud for it to be a real book?
Yes.
He said it. He wrote it. Done.
He actually said it because he has an audiobook and he's the one. So yes, even Barack Obama has to say it. So you do too.
No, I don't have to do anything but stay black and die.
Well, you can be Michael Jackson. Oh my God. I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm just Terrell.
Make sure you follow us at Yanni Rude, at Just Terrell, and at RGRT Pod.
Yeah, send us some of your random thoughts or some of the bullshit stories you see out there in the media, and we'll talk about them on the show.
It's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast. Cheers.
Cheers.